theme is cybersecurity through artificial intelligence. So for this, we have our panelists, and I would welcome the panelists on days. First of all, Professor Dr. Padmalochana Bera, Professor IIT Bhubaneswar, who will act as the chairperson of this panel discussion. I would request sir to please come onto the dais. Student, please escort. A big round of applause for sir. I have already introduced sir elaborately. Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Niladri Bihari Mohanty, scientist, NIC, to please come onto the dais. A big round of applause for Mr. Niladri Bihari Mohanty. He is a scientist. Can we have a little silence, please? Audience, can we have a little silence, please? Thank you. Mr. Niladri Bihari Mohanty is a scientist D at the National Informatics Center, NIC, Government of India. He is involved in the design, development, and implementation of e-governance systems and ICT-based solutions that support digital transformation in various government sectors. His professional interests include software engineering, data analytics, cybersecurity, cloud computing, and emerging technologies in e-governance. With years of experience in government technology initiatives, Mr. Mohanty has contributed to several national-level digital projects aimed at enhancing public service delivery and promoting transparency and efficiency through technology. So welcome on dais. Next, I would request Mr. Professor Dr. Sumana Maiti, Assistant Professor from IIT Bhubaneswar, to please come on dais. A big round of applause for Dr. Maiti. Dr. Maiti is an Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the Indian Institute of Information Technology, IIT Kalyani, West Bengal, India. Her research interests include machine learning, data mining, bioinformatics, and artificial intelligence. Dr. Maiti has published several research papers in reputed journals and international conferences, focusing on topics such as pattern recognition, healthcare, data analysis, and intelligent systems. She is also actively engaged in academic mentorship and collaborative research aimed at applying computational intelligence techniques to solve real-world problems in data science and biomedical domains. I would now request Mr. Amit Srivastava, co-founder VMV Network, to please come on stage. He is a seasoned professional with a strong foundation in electronics and telecommunication engineering and a master's in business administration. Mr. Amit brings extensive experience in technology, operations, network infrastructure, and business management. He began his career at IBM, where he spent 12 years as an operations manager, leading teams of engineers specializing in networking, server management, cybersecurity, big data analysis, and artificial intelligence. Following his tenure at IBM, he joined TalkTalk, a UK-based telecommunications company, as a fiber optics engineer, managing fiber network operations across Greater London region, including Essex, Kent, Surrey, Berkshire, and Buckinghamshire. In the year 2015, he joined a US-based fiber optics and cybersecurity company, VMV Network LLC, as a CTO, and in 2024, he became the co-founder and board member. Welcome, Mr. Srivastava. I would now request Mr. Somen Das, Associate Director, Accenture, to please come on dais. Mr. Das is an Associate Director at Accenture, a global leader in consulting, technology, and digital transformation. With extensive experience in managing large-scale IT and business transformation projects, he plays a pivotal role in driving strategic initiatives and innovation for clients and various industries. His expertise lies in leveraging emerging technologies such as AI, cloud computing, and data analytics to deliver sustainable business outcomes. Mr. Das is known for his leadership, problem-solving acumen, and commitment to fostering digital excellence within the organization. Welcome, Mr. Das. I would now request Mr. Debi Prasad Pati, Business Development Head, TCS Kolkata, to please come on dais. Mr. Debi Prasad Pati has over 28 years of experience at TCS, contributing significantly to the digital transformation journey across various IoT platforms, solutions, and technologies, such as mining, manufacturing, life science, healthcare, transportation, utility retailing, and banking. Currently, Mr. Debi is responsible for business development lead for TCS IIoT platform, TCUP in India, and represents TCS in academic alliance programs as an invited speaker, jury member, and participant in other board of studies activities. His interest is for innovation and research. He has led the consortium-based digital transformation platform called FIRST for rural inclusion under CEFI-PRA India in collaboration with IISc, University of Nice, and Gemalto from 2012 to 2018. This initiative was presented at various forums conducted by CEFI-PRA. Welcome on dais. And now I request Professor Dr. Abhay Kumar Samal to please come on dais. So please, I have already introduced Professor Dr. Abhay Kumar Samal as the convener of this event. Sir, please. And I hand over the session to the chairman of the discussion. I hand over the session to Professor Dr. Padmalochana Bera, Professor IIT Bhubaneswar. He will carry forward as the moderator. So please, and I would request to please stick to 45 minutes if possible. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Am I audible to all of you? Yeah. Am I audible? No, sir. Hello? Am I audible to all of you now? Okay, great. So I welcome all the panel members for this discussion. So basically in this discussion, we will be putting some questionnaires, okay? And then those questionnaires will be answered by or explained by different panel members or experts, and then followed by if you have any brief queries, brief questions, so that can be also taken up. Okay? So I'll start with Mr. Niladri Mohanty, Scientist D, NIC. So I pose a question. So as government systems increasingly integrate AI, how is NIC ensuring that public digital infrastructure, right, that remain resilient against different AI-driven cyber threats, and like deepfakes, prompt injections, autonomous attacks, and to make those systems more reliable? Okay, so this is the question. So if you can give some lights on this.
Good morning. So the question is that NIC means National Informatics Center. It is an organization under the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Government of India. So it is a government. Government means rigid policies, very static SOPs, old age laws, and very mandatory capability very less. The way technology is pace. Similarly, in the same pace, the security has to be grown in the government infra. So what we found that how this cyber security related issues, cyber crime related issues is growing so rapidly, even if without having formal investment from different sectors. For example, sir from IT is there, if you want to do something in the cyber security, he is having the avenue of getting funding. But if we want to do something to hack or to do some cyber crime, getting formal funding is not very normal process, right? Instead of that, how these people are getting so much technological advance? Then finding these technical problems, the solution to technical problems is actually psychological problems. The point is that they never used any technology they have developed for hacking. They used those technologies, those are developed for cyber security. We have developed VPN, virtual private network, for security purpose. They used VPN to hide their identity. We have developed blockchain for security purpose. They used blockchain to develop Bitcoin to extract money from the victim. We have developed encryption for security purpose. We never thought encryption would be used for any hacking purpose. They used encryption for making ransomware. They encrypt your file and then ask for money. So every time we develop a new technology for the sake of the benefit of our data, our people, our customers, they use the same thing against us. That is how they are always one step ahead of us. So in NIC, what we found that इनको टेक्नोलॉजी में बीट नहीं कर सकते। वो तो वो रशिया से जिसके साथ फाइट करोगे तो हमारा 50% एनर्जी उसके पास में चला जाता है, फिर वो उस टॉप ऑफ दैट फाइट करता है। We have to find it using our same mind game. If they are using a methodology to attack using AI, then we have to defend using AI. If they are using AI to generate deepfake photos, then we will use AI, CNN-based CNN-based models to detect that these photographs are deepfake. Because that till now we are able to very easily isolate the deepfake photos and videos. If they are using AI to generate autonomous attacks, then we are also using AI at the level of firewall, so at the level of IDS, IPS, intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system, there is a perimeter security part of components to prevent those attacks. At the same time, we are also changing our mindset. Previously we were talking about data security, then we talked about information security, now we are talking about model security. Because once the model is trained on tons of data, the trained model is nothing but a mathematical equation, y is equal to x plus b. And now this mathematical equation understand and remember all the data. Now this data is not important for the hacker. That model is important for the hacker. Hacker will not target the data. Hacker will attack the model, but the model is stored. So our focus changed from the data information security to model security. Last, I just want to add this point. The era when the transformer came, or the GPT in normal language came, the transformer architecture, large language model, visual language model, small language, these things came on the market. The AI ML का जो ML part था, machine learning part था, वो बहुत कम हो गया. Because the GPT-4 took H100 NVIDIA GPU 25,000 2 महीना, तब जाकर 3 महीना, तब जाकर एक large language model बनता है. अगर हम उसको ट्रेन करेंगे, लर्निंग कराएंगे, तो it will also need a lots of money to retrain it. So market में what happened after the Gen AI came into the market, the LLM came into the market, there is a perimeter technology get invented or explored. Those are called RAG, retrieval augmented generations, PF, parameter efficient fine tunings, LoRa adaptation. There are multiple mechanisms has been developed which either eliminate the process of learning or optimize the process of learning to teach new things. Just like in drag as an architecture where you can teach something which you don't need to do the machine learning. So tampering of the large language model is very much possible right now. So our focus on securing not the large language model, because this is very tough to manipulate the large language model, but the perimeter component which have the higher potential to manipulate the decisions of the large language model, those security are got now in focus. That is how we are dealing right now to face this current challenge that is visible. And for the future, definitely we can say we are not ready. कि future में किस type का attack होगा, उसके लिए are we ready? This is actually scary situations. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mohanty. So, I hope this is very challenging situation. NIC plays a big role for ensuring, because many of our public digital infrastructures are actually maintained by NIC. So, as he has mentioned that in the current situations, so they are coming up with various solutions, right, which is at the perimeter level security, right. So this is very, very important. At the same time, model level attacks, sometimes data level attacks, that may be one of the things that is pretty easy, but model level attack, preventing that, so that is one of the important aspects which they have taken up, and many I see that many research groups also working on that. There are various technologies in that directions which are being developed. So very nice to hear from Mr. Mohanty about these directions. So we'll take up the questions. If you have any questions in your mind, we'll take up these questions towards the end of the panel discussion. So that is what it is. So very next question, it is basically for me, how can India ensure cybersecurity assurance, auditability and trust in AI-driven digital systems as they become the backbone of governance, defense and financial infrastructure? Yeah, so this is about the national level. So how basically we will take up cybersecurity challenge, right? The question is in that direction. So the answer to this particular question is that we need to go with integrated approach, right? So here we need to have appropriate regulations, regulatory guidelines, reforms. Second is that advancement of technologies, and third one is government initiatives. Okay. So in terms of regulations, there are various regulatory bodies like IT Act 2000, 2020, 2021, what I can see. So there are various regulations on cyber crimes, right? So cyber crimes, cyber bullying, there are various acts have been formulated. So those guidelines are very, very important. It plays a big role. So how do you know that a particular incident is a case of cyberbullying? Okay. So in that directions there are various regulations. So those regulations needs to be formed as we move ahead, because cyberbullying is not at personal level now. It may be at community level, right? So cybercrime can happen at the community level also, right? So what would be the regulations to stop such type of cybercrime, cyber incidents? So there are necessary regulations that has to be formed. At the same time, there are different data privacy, personal data privacy protection, right? So there are acts government has initiated. This is actually Digital Personal Data Protection Act. Under 2023, government has come up with a DPDP Act. So under this, so which data are actually private and which data should be public, and how the private data that can be protected. So some guidelines, though there is no clear guidelines about the privacy, but how digital data that can be protected, so there are certain guidelines which have been regulated in that. So these are some of the important steps which government has taken. So this is one way to take it forward. Second important aspect is technological advancements. So very first thing which we want is that secure coding practice. So all the young engineers or young generation, they should be adapted with secure coding practice, very first thing. So what do you mean by secure coding practice? So secure coding practice, I'm giving you an example. So suppose you are developing an application which will be basically accessing some data that is stored in the back-end database like Oracle, MySQL, some database you have is there, where basically you have developed one application which essentially access the data from the back-end platform, right? When you basically access it, then you pass some arguments, you pass some parameters through the GUI, graphical user interfaces, to the backend. To communicate with the backend, you send some parameters, right? Now these parameters should be passed dynamically at the runtime. So it should not be static, it should not be statically imposed into the program, so that it gives scope to the attacker to modify these static parameters, and that can actually allow malicious access to the backend platform. So I'm giving an example. So you write a Java program to access the database through some Java database connectivity, and if you write a query where basically you pass the argument, static argument, so let's say select star from something where x equals to some value, static value you are putting, then essentially, so those values can be tampered, modified, because it is passed through the interface, and that will give incorrect or malicious access to the backend platform, and then your database can be modified, backend database can be modified. So instead of doing that, you can use parameterized queries, where runtime these parameters values can be passed, right? So this is a simple example I gave you. Similarly, when you write some program, there are various checks, right? End of. So suppose you are dealing with an array of a particular size. So if you do not basically check the end of the length of the array, okay, so then essentially it may potentially lead to buffer overflow attack. So it may actually lead to different memory locations. The program will lead to transfer the execution control to a different memory location, which is where actually incorrect code are actually injected, and in the process it will lead to crash your program which is getting executed. Okay, so simple examples. So secure design, secure coding practice is very, very important. Second thing is that considering the current scenario, how do you model threats? So threat modeling and risk assessment. This is one of the important topic that has to be also studied, right? So there are the various technologies which are there for threat modeling in adversarial scenarios, how threat can be modeled. And then there are various encryption technologies like differential privacy. There are secure multi-party computations where Mr. Mohanty was talking about that model attacks prevention, right? So this kind of encryption technologies are also coming up. So these are some advancement in the technology side. And from the government side, there are different center of excellence. Recently, they have created Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, I4C. Under that, government has taken up a challenge that next 5 years, 50,000 cyber commandos, they will be skilled. So government will skill 50,000 cyber commandos in next 5 years. So under the I4C, it is Ministry of Home Affairs. Under Ministry of Home Affairs, this I4C cell has been created. Okay? So IIT Bhubaneswar will be also conducting one such 6 months training starting from January. Right? So these are the different initiatives which government has taken. Okay? So that way, so I can tell you that Indian government collectively with different integrated approach, they are basically deploying various solutions to assure the cyber security protections against digital infrastructure. Okay, so this is the question. Then next question which I wanted to ask to my colleague, Professor Sumana Maiti. So the question is, from research perspective, what are the most promising AI or ML models for threat prediction and anomaly detection? And how can academia and government collaborate to make these solutions production ready? Yeah, over.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. So, what is the most promising AI model? That basically that there is no such promising AI model which will work for the everything. So, this will depend on our objective. There are multiple models are there. So, if we talk about the anomaly-based model, so it will basically see what is the usual traffic pattern. So, how the user logins to the system. So, if some unusual traffic is seen, then the attack will be detected. Next is that it can be something like time series model. Okay, so it will basically check that how the system changes over time. If suppose the multiple false login attempts are there, or some unusual system commands are there, then it will be spotted. Then there can be the graph-based model that it will basically connect the different devices or different users. So how the interrelationship between these. So it will basically try to find that whether there is any inside attacker is present or not, or the malware is basically spread all over the internet. And next is that we can talk about there can be some differential model also which basically generates some fake attacks, suppose the phishing attacks, and these attacks will help to train the model. So there are multiple models are there which we can use depending on our objective, and also we can use some hybrid models, basically the mixing of one or two models. So that will basically help to reduce the false alarm. So this is the first question answer, and what was the next question, sir?
Next question was that how can academia and government can collaborate to make these solutions production ready?
Okay.
Briefly, you can just tell us.
Okay. So how the academia and government collaborate, that first is that as an academician that we don't have the real life data. So government has the real cyber data which we can use, but there may be some that privacy issues are there. So what we can do is that we can use the synthetic version of or some anonymized version of the data we can use. In this way we can collaborate, or that collaboratively government and the academician, we can create some lab where we both can work together. That can happen. And another thing is that we can basically organize some kind of workshop or some training program, or we can offer some internship, or that government can also sponsor some project where the government experience also we can use, and we can build some kind of AI machine learning tools for the cyber security. So in this way the government and academician can collaborate.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Maiti. startups, startups often operate with limited cybersecurity budgets. So how can AI democratize access to enterprise-grade security for SMEs and startups?
Sure, sir. Uh, Good morning, everyone. Uh, Good morning, respected dignitaries, fellow panelists, and the faculty members. And moreover, I'll not call students here. You guys are the talents, okay, and the real talents, okay. And when I say this with pride and with, future of India. So I come from a background where maybe the remaining people, they will talk about, the panelists will talk about how India is developing. I'm more into the US part of it because the company I belong to is Virtue Media Visions Network. That's a company based at Brooklyn, New York. And we recruit a lot of, especially in the field of cybersecurity, digital forensics, we recruit a lot of young minds from India. And I do not have to tell why we recruit a lot of people from India because everyone knows that someone in technology, it has to be someone from India. Be it Sam Altman's company, be it Microsoft, a lot of chief technology officers, you will find it from India. Okay, and we come from a very small to medium level enterprise, unlike TCS, Accenture, Google, Microsoft. And as the question says, it's about the startups. So I know how our startup, VMV Network, our founder is Miss Yannick Washington. It was her dream. She is a minority woman at Brooklyn, New York. That's how she actually started. She actually conceived this idea in the year 2005. And after COVID, we actually started working on it. Okay, so it takes a lot of time for a smaller to a medium enterprise to get started because what's important is the money, correct? What's important is from where we will get the funds. So funding is very essential for a small to medium, enterprise level solutions. And I'll tell you what, the startups and SMEs, they typically operate on a very tight budget. Sometimes, the budgets are in such a way that it takes a lot of time to actually implement it. But yes, with the coming up of AI, this deployment or this potential of fundamentally ensuring that now the budget can actually be, because a lot of budgets are implemented in acquiring talents, complexity, and the skill barriers. So I'll give you 3 examples how AI-driven, how AI can help a medium-level enterprise to actually, get off this barrel. One is the AI-driven threat detection and response systems can continuously learn from global threat intelligence. And what is AI? People say that AI is taking our job. Not at all. AI is reading what we are feeding, what data we are providing to the AI. And who is handling it? It's the human. The second is the automation through AI. Very important this, how automation can help to handle repetitive yet critical risks like vulnerability scanning, anomaly detection, and incident triage at a scale and speed. This actually minimizes the human error and allows startups to maintain robust protection. And the third important is the emergence of AI embedded cloud-based security program. That means enterprise-grade defenses are now available through accessible subscription-based models these solutions abstract away the complexity of traditional securing tasks, offering security as a service. So we all know SaaS. Sir has already mentioned about SaaS. So again, coming to your question about, now this cybersecurity is no more an advanced section of IT. No, it's part of IT. So again, referring to all the talents, you can be from different science, engineering backgrounds. But believe me, we have a lot of certificate programs that happens in cybersecurity, and it's all AI driven. So you can be part of it. And this helps our country to actually showcase our skills at a national and an international level. I hope I answered your question, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, good to know that startups and SMEs are also investing a lot significantly for hiring the people from the domain of cybersecurity, right? So they are focusing a lot in this domain, and that is essential. Thank you, Mr. Srivastava. So next. Oh, it is not audible. Yeah, thank you. So it is good to know that SMEs and startups, they are also investing in cybersecurity. So it would be good opportunities for young engineers as well, right? To focus in this domain. So my next question is to Mr. Debi Prasad Pati, TCS Kolkata. The question is, how are major IT service companies helping clients implement responsible AI governance framework to ensure data security, model integrity, and compliance with emerging laws like DPDP Act? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody. Now, before answering this question, let me give a background. Last 30 years, how things are evolved. If you see, we divided IT evolution in different phases. The first phase is mainframe era. It goes up to 90s, late 90s. Then started a ERP era. That time, if you analyze, and this is what our experience has been. We are part of system development across the world, and that time, cybersecurity means only related to access control and some sort of endpoint security, network security. It does not actually go beyond that time. And then what happened? Suddenly, ERP era ends actually, 2010 and started, digital era picked up. You have actually smartphone coming, and then actually you can start actually doing the payment outside actually data center, or you don't need to go to bank actually to do the transactions. So then, certain level of actually API security, other things actually comes into picture. And during that time, what happened? Stuxnet actually kind of, attack happened in, nuclear establishment in Iran to derail their, nuclear program, and that has derailed actually 10 years. Please understand actually what is the seriousness of that impact. Then what happened? All governments started actually seeing cyber threats. So they started actually focusing on identifying the critical infrastructures, certain level of actually, guidelines they publish, they don't mandate anything. And it all started actually, in the US, they identified actually 16 sectors, then all the other countries actually jumped in. And India started seriously focusing in 2019. And then, digital, IoT, those things are combined together. And that time actually, the first AI era started coming. And that first AI era is actually predictive model. That is the area where you will find prediction, whether actually my transformer is actually performing well, whether my system is performing well. In this kind of thing, you are collecting data to specific, area assets, and you are analyzing and improving that. That is the era actually it started. But suddenly, what happened during COVID time? We have a second era started. That is Gen AI came into picture. And here I wanted to actually correlate something. In the digital era, privacy came into picture. If you analyze, privacy was not talked about actually earlier. Privacy comes into picture when actually you are able to access outside. Otherwise, actually all the IT systems are, part of data centers or cloud journey started, cloud migration started. And people actually move the data from their own data center to the cloud. Now people don't know actually who is managing the cloud. So this sort of actually questions actually came into picture. Then we reached actually the second phase of generative AI. And that creates actually all kinds of actually havoc. And in the meantime, what happened? Government is taking actually initiative, and each sectors or organizations to protect their IT system. What they have done? They moved from security as a support system. Support system means actually, they think that actually it is a support activities. They don't think that it is a business function. Then they started actually thinking as a business function. When any organization thinks that it is a business function, they will see that I need to set up a department. Somebody has to own. Somebody has to be accountable for that. Then I define policies, procedures, and I come up with actually governance mechanism. All things actually would come into picture. And that is what actually it started, maybe actually 2015-16, actually it was well established. Everybody appreciates that I need to have a CISO. I have to have actually security function in place. I have to establish all the security controls, what is actually laid down by CSA, NIST, all the things. And everybody focus, and Sir mentioned actually, you should start actually secured coding practice. That also, integrated as part of SDLC phase. Everything actually was laid down actually very nicely. Then, when actually this AI came into picture, one is predictive model, then Gen AI, that is LLMs. Now, LLMs are not actually owned by any company today. Whatever we are using actually is publicly available. So, it trained actually on the public data. So, its behavior is a questionable thing. Then, suddenly, last 1 year or 2 years, you will find actually agentic AI came into picture. That is the third way. So, each played actually a different role right now. And to answer actually Sir's question to me, you see, the first is actually data. Any AI model, it requires data. So, data integrity, data protection, who should be accessed, and whose data should be, permitted to, train, all the things actually you need to have. And that includes actually privacy. And that privacy came into picture in India as part of actually DP Act. DP Act actually is a privacy law. And privacy law actually is a foundation. It is a foundation for actually AI model security. There are two security involved actually AI model security. One is data security, data integrity, and then actually model security. When we are talking about model security, then actually model behavior actually would come into picture. And if anybody is actually poison the data which is fed to the model, while training. So those aspects also need to be considered. And who is going to access? Who is going to protect those models? It is not a single model. Prediction model, actually you have 1,000 models running in the organization. Who is going to manage? Who is going to manage actually those performance? So that is the reason governance actually would come. So whatever is laid down today, that is not sufficient. In due course, maybe 2 to 3 years time, that brings a clarity. In cybersecurity side, you'll find NCI IPC, they have come up with, they are working closely with IIT Kanpur, come up with one governance platform which everybody would actually meet. Mandate has not come, but it's a guideline stage. So similarly, I understand and I see that things would come actually going forward such that the way we are looking at, you need to have a CISO for each organization, you need a PI champion, and one unit actually should focus for governance. That is not laid down, but it is going to happen because it needs, each organization should appreciate that, okay, I need it. It is not that somebody would say and you will implement. The way we are saying, Sir Padi actually he mentioned cryptography should be taught actually every, that is the basic things or foundation for cybersecurity. If you understand cryptography and what are, crypto services provided, then actually at least you will map actually what I am going to do with network security, what I am going to do with endpoint security, what I am going to do actually, identity and access management. So that would be addressed. So my point is that by saying actually it won't be implemented. So both the parties and stakeholders ecosystem has to appreciate and respect actually the guidelines, then implement those guidelines from the management support and technical support. That is what actually I wanted to convey.
Thank you, Mr. Pati. So it is good to know that major IT service companies, major IT service companies, they are actually giving more emphasis on data security, model integrity and compliance with the emerging DPDP Act or laws, right? So this is very, very essential to comply or to defend the current challenges of cyber security. So next, my question is to Mr. Somen Das, Associate Director, Accenture. So the question is, can AI be effectively integrated into national level security operation centers, SOCs, to automate incident response while maintaining human oversight? So human oversight is one of the important challenge. So how that can be taken up? So the question to you, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Padmalochana sir, for the question. But before I begin, Jai Jagannath, good afternoon, everybody. This is my, I think, fourth time I'm here in TAT. Thank you for the love and affection that TAT has shown, and I hope this continues in days to come as well. Coming back to the question, there are three aspects sir touched upon. Let's break the question into three parts. The first is necessity for automation. Okay. Second thing he have emphasized is the role of AI in incident response in national SOC. SOC is basically Security Operations Center. And third is the human element. Okay. So these three problem statements will quickly do a deep dive and then get to the answers. How does it look like? So why automation is needed? Okay. And what role can we play? The future that we see in front of us, how can you play a role in that, right? So if you just take the example of our day-to-day life, we come across CCTV, right? Even this hall has a lot of CCTVs, right? The closed circuit television, and it is watching every one of us. Probably it is the duty of the security guard or the security personnel to monitor if there are intruders, right? And so much of video that we generate during the day. And imagine this in a factory, large-scale enterprise. So the job, the data that comes in every second that gets uploaded to the server, how do you know which one is the threat? Okay. Now let's scale it up. the national level infrastructure we are talking about. And Principal Ma'am gave a very good example of the Maharashtra power grid, which got impacted. There are so many sensors, tiny sensors that are working at a grid level. And if you look at national level infrastructure in these SCADA systems, we have state level distribution centers and regional distribution centers, which are basically the nerve centers of all the electricity that goes into the entire country. So how do you know what is it that is malicious, right? And the human capital that we put into the job to monitor the goods and the bads, it's not sufficient. So that's the biggest problem that the entire industry, including the big shots, all the GSIs that we have are facing our customers, the volume of data that is being generated by each of those tiny sensors or to the largest AI models that are running. So every second there is terabytes of data that is getting pumped into an infrastructure, wherever we are storing it. Okay? So how do we automate quickly to get that piece detected? And then once we detect it, what is the right action that we take? Okay? Hence, the automation part is very critical from that perspective. Now, if automation can do everything, then why AI is required? Right? What is the role of AI? So my parents live separately. I stay separately. So what I have done, I have CCTV cameras. I constantly monitor, and when there is an alert in the night, I quickly wake up and see if there is a intruder which has come in, right? And most of the time, these are fake alarms. So a fly or a bee will go in front of the camera and it will throw up an alert, right? So how do you know which one is actually the alert that is the threat actor inside? So going back to the grid chaos that happened in Maharashtra, it actually started in 2020, in fact, before pandemic. And the threat actors were perceived to be in the network for more than a year. So how come they got to know it in the 2021, right? When 2021 or 2020, late 2022. It actually came across through threat intelligence feed, which came from outside. So that means the detectors who were there, or the defenders like us who were there on the job, did not detect it. So somebody found in the social media or probably in the dark web, where it gets sold when you get the information. From that, it came through to the knowledge that this is what happened. So already the data had gone out, some disruption had happened. When we go and investigate, we find that. Okay? So this is not detectable because our traditional or legacy tools that we have in place, they are IOC based. There are signatures. We know that this is the threat. So we put that threat and we scout the entire data, the volume that we talked about, and see if there is a match. Okay? And hence, the need for behavioral analytics comes into the picture. At what time does this happen? Is there a configuration change in those sensors which could be detected? So there is a need for AI to quickly look at all those terabytes and petabytes of data and specifically look for, first do a behavioral scouting, know what is foundationally good behavior, and then constantly look and compare against the abnormalities in that. And that's what AI is playing in terms of quickly helping and enabling the analysts who are monitoring it to take the right decision. Okay? Now, if AI is doing that, can't it take also the action in terms of isolating it and then quickly eradicating the threat? There are false positives. So falsely executed alarms. Okay? And hence, human in the loop and human on the loop. So these are two terminologies that we use, is very critical, because AI system, even if we are doing it, the researchers and the professors, they are building it pretty neatly, still there is opacity. Okay? Why AI takes that decision is still not reasonable in some of the cases, right? So we cannot go with the synonym of complete autonomy while we are expecting it to be automating a lot of tasks, doing those behavioral analytics, but we do not want to give complete autonomy when it is impacting our lives, be it healthcare, be it power grids, or any other manufacturing plants, or boiler plants. So anywhere, and that's where the decisive flow that we take, if at all it is impacting the risk of impact is high, then human has to be in the loop to take the decision, understand what the AI is prompting, what decision it is asking us to take, and then take the call. But if it is low impact, like very minuscule impact, in that case we might dev environment or maybe test environment where it is not going to affect the production, maybe bring in that autonomy, which will reduce our job. So that's how you can balance rightly between the problem, which is the volume, bring in automation, bring in AI to further refine it, and then present you with list of actions that you need to take. Okay, so that's how you'd like to do that. And all of you that you are here, I think Amit also mentioned that very beautifully. You are the talents, you are the cyber warriors or the cyber commandos for future. And when you look at, even if your love for development is there, you can look at a lot of IDs that have come up, Windsurf or Cursor.ai. So they will make your life much, much more easier when you are going to code, interact with those systems. And I think the industry, as per the latest NASSCOM report, which came out in August, 1 million cybersecurity professionals are required in India itself. We are less than half of that, okay? And everybody who has a foundation in network, foundation in development, can easily take up some of these roles that we are requiring in the industry. And cybersecurity is very beautifully poised. You add security before any of the new technology that comes in. For example, AI, security for AI, okay? And you take the security and put it in the end, AI for security. So either way, your career is going to be safe. Doesn't matter which wave. Today is AI, as Debi was mentioning. Tomorrow there could be something else, AI++, we don't know. But security is always just prepone it and postpone it, right? So prepend or postpend and you have, or append, you have your career safe, okay? So thank you so much, sir. That is how I would like to wrap up my point.
Thank you, Mr. Das, to explain it nicely that, how AI can actually help in automating the incident response while keeping human in the loop. At the same time, it is also very, very important. He mentioned that it is a scope for the new generations, the young generations, to get equipped with cybersecurity technologies. There are a lot of scopes for them. So therefore, if you are working in any domain like networking, systems, right, programming, so all of them basically take such challenges, right, to automate things using AI platforms, keeping cybersecurity as one of the, technology which can actually protect your system infrastructure, right? Thank you, Mr. Das. So any other questionnaires are not there at this point. So to conclude, so we would like to have a common panel discussion where we want to discuss about next 5 years. If we think next 5 years, what is one AI-driven innovation that we can believe that will most significantly reshape the cybersecurity landscape, and what one risk warriors you the most. So this is one question to all the panel members. We would like to have a brief discussion on this particular topic. So looking forward, next 5 years, what is the one AI-driven innovation that we believe that will be most important?
We don't have time for more questions.
Yeah, I will not have more questions. We'll have a brief discussions on this particular part, or we'll close it. Okay. Okay. So we'll have the panel discussions by different experts. So I thank all the panel members for their valuable insights on different questions. So with this, we'll be closing it. Now, over to Dr. Kumar, so you can conclude.
Is it okay now? Yeah. So good afternoon, everybody. I sincerely thank the contributions of Dr. Bera, Dr. Maiti, Mr. Somen, Mr. Pati, Mr. Mohanty, and Mr. Srinivas in making this conclave a grand success. In fact, we stand today at a defining juncture in India's digital journey, a journey where the lines between the physical and digital, human and machine, threat and defense are blurring faster than ever before. Artificial intelligence has emerged not only as a catalyst for innovation, but also as a formidable force that is reshaping the very landscape of cyber threats and defense. On one hand, artificial intelligence empowers defenders, enabling predictive threat modeling, automated intrusion detection, and adaptive security architectures. On the other hand, it arms adversaries with new capabilities, generating sophisticated phishing campaigns, deepfakes, autonomous malware, and large-scale misinformation network. This duality makes artificial intelligence both a shield as well as a sword in the realm of cyber defense. In the Indian context, where digital governance, smart infrastructure, and fintech innovations are scaling rapidly, cyber resilience has become a strategic necessity. The government of India's initiative like Digital India, Cyber Surakshit Bharat, and the upcoming National Cyber Security Strategy. They recognize cyber defense is not just about technology, it is about talent, trust, and collaboration. Today's discussion has brought together a distinguished panel representing academia, government, and industry, the three pillars a secure digital nation requires. We have experts from National Informatics Center, Indian Institute of Technology, and leading IT organizations and startups who shared their views, perspective on how artificial intelligence can transform, reinforce, and sometimes even challenge our cybersecurity paradigm. During the last 1 hour of discussion, we explored critical questions from artificial intelligence-driven cyber resilience and threat intelligence framework to ethical accountability of autonomous systems and the future of artificial intelligence in national cyber operations. Let this dialogue serve as both reflections of where we are today and a roadmap of where we must go towards a future where artificial intelligence become the intelligent shield safeguarding India's digital sovereignty. On behalf of Trident Academy of Technology, our prime objective of conducting this conclave is to create a center of excellence to promote cybersecurity research. On behalf of Trident Academy of Technology, I extend heartfelt thanks to our distinguished panelists for their valuable time, insight, and commitment to building a secure digital India. Let this discussion be not an end, but a beginning of shared knowledge, continuous innovation, and collective defense of our nation's digital future. Thank you all.
Thank you, esteemed panelists, for this enriching discussion. I'm sure it has helped the students and the young people and those panelists who have, the delegates who have come from across India to participate here. They must have got some knowledge. They must have got enlightened by you. Thank you so much. And as a token of appreciation, we would like to honor our panelists here. For this, I would request Dr. Maya Nayak, principal of our institution, to please come up on dais. I request the chairperson of this session and also the guest of honor for the inaugural session, Professor Dr. Padmalochana Bera, Professor IIT Bhubaneswar, to please come forward so that we can felicitate you. A big round of applause for our guest of honor and the chairperson of this session. Professor Dr. Padmalochana Bera, Professor IIT Bhubaneswar. I would now request Professor Dr. Sumana Maiti, Assistant Professor IIT Bhubaneswar, to come forward. A big round of applause for Dr. Maiti. I request Professor Dr. Abhay Kumar Samal, convener of this event, to please come forward. Thank you, ma'am, for doing the honors. I would now request Mr. Jaydev Das, Director, Training and Placement, to please come up on dais so to felicitate the rest of the dignitaries. I would now ask Mr. Amit Srivastava, co-founder, VMV Network, to please come forward. Mr. Niladri Bihari Mohanty, Scientist D, NIC, please come forward. A big round of applause for Mr. Niladri Bihari Mohanty. I would request Mr. Somen Das, Associate Director, Accenture, to come forward, please. I would now request Mr. Debi Prasad Pati, Business Development Head, TCS Kolkata, to please come forward. Thank you. Thank you very much, dignitaries, for this enriching discussion, for enlightening us with your insights.